Every year I sit down and look at how fast AI is moving, and I'm reminded of something simple. Most people don't fail because they're not smart enough. They fail because they don't have a roadmap. They jump from tool to tool, course to course, headline to headline, and they never stop to ask the one question that actually matters. What's my path? So today, I want to walk you through something I wish someone had given me when I started. A grounded, realistic, step-by-step roadmap for building a real career in AI by 2026. No hype, no get-rich-quick energy, just the truth about the skills, the mindset, and the moves you need to make if you want to go from beginner to expert without wasting years. And let me start with a simple hook that I want you to think about for a moment. If you kept learning at the same pace you're learning right now, where would you realistically be in 2 years? Does that answer feel inspiring, or does it make you uncomfortable? That feeling, whichever one it is important, because the gap between where you are and where you want to be is not closed by talent, it's closed by direction, and that's what this roadmap is all about. Now, the first thing I want you to remember is this. AI isn't one career. It's a whole ecosystem of roles, skills, and paths. Some people build models. Some people deploy them. Some people write with them. Some people fix mistakes. Some people help companies actually use them. So if you're listening to this thinking, but I'm not technical, or I'm not a coder, or I don't know where I fit, just breathe for a second. The AI field in 2026 needs builders, thinkers, writers, analysts, troubleshooters, communicators, designers, operators, the whole lot. There's a place for you here if you're willing to learn consistently. Let's start at the beginning. If you're at the early stage, the very first thing you need is familiarity, not mastery. I want you to imagine AI like learning to drive a car. Nobody starts by understanding how the engine works. You start by learning how to steer without hitting a wall. The same rule applies here. Your job as a beginner is not to become a model architect or a research scientist. Your job is to become comfortable. Comfortable with prompts, comfortable with AI interfaces, comfortable with experimentation, comfortable with the idea that sometimes the output will be wrong and you'll have to guide it. Ask yourself, can you sit down with a tool like ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, or Llama and use it to solve real problems? Not hypothetical examples, not sample prompts, but real tasks, your tasks. If you can't, that's your first milestone. Because once you can use AI well, you're no longer watching the world change from the outside, you're participating in it. And let's talk about something people forget. The beginners who succeed fastest are the ones who treat AI like a partner, not a vending machine. They don't just type a one-line prompt and hope for magic. They ask follow-up questions, they refine, they explore. They treat the tool like a conversation. And in 2026, conversational skill is going to matter a whole lot more than any specific tool, because tools will keep changing. Your ability to adapt won't. When you reach this comfort level, something interesting happens. You stop asking, what can AI do? And you start asking, what can I do with AI? That shift is the doorway to the next stage, competence. Competence is where you stop being a casual user and you start becoming someone companies can hire, clients can trust, and colleagues can rely on. And what does competence look like? Let me paint a picture. If someone came to you and said, I need to automate this research process, or I need to analyze this data, or I need content created, organized, edited, or transformed, would you know how to build a workflow for it? Not perfectly, not flawlessly, just enough to get results, test them, refine them, and deliver something that works. That's competence. And you build it by learning categories of skills, not random tricks. Think of categories like AI-assisted writing and communication, AI-assisted research and summarization, AI workflow building, AI for data understanding, AI for productivity and automation, AI for customer experience, AI for decision support, AI for problem solving. Notice I'm not talking about prompt packs or shortcuts. I'm talking about broad, transferable abilities. In 2026, the people who are in the most demand aren't the ones who memorized 1,000 clever prompts. They're the ones who understand the process, how to ask for what you need, how to refine a messy draft, how to break down a big task into smaller tasks that AI can handle. You may be wondering, how long does it take to go from beginner to competence? That depends on one thing: how often you practice. If you use AI only when you feel like it, progress is slow. But if you use it daily, even for small tasks, the learning compounds. Think about it. If you learned one new AI skill every single day for the next year, that's 365 new skills. Most people don't even learn 30. Now, once you build competence, that's when you hit the most important fork in the whole roadmap. And this fork determines the kind of AI career you will actually build. The fork is simple. Do you want to stay general, or do you want to specialize? Generalists will still have opportunities in 2026, especially in smaller companies that need someone who can handle a little bit of everything, but specialization creates leverage. It creates higher income, deeper expertise, better opportunities, and more leadership potential. So let's talk about the main specializations emerging by 2026. The first is AI product operators, the people who run AI systems inside companies. They don't code the model, but they set up workflows, monitor outputs, fix errors, and help teams use AI effectively. Think of them as the AI mechanics of the workplace. Then you have AI workflow designers, the people who build structured processes using automation, agents, and multi-step instructions. They help teams replace repetitive tasks with reliable systems. There are also prompt engineers, but the job title is changing. It's becoming more integrated with roles like content engineering, data preparation, and workflow architecture. It's less about writing one prompt and more about understanding how the system interacts with context, instructions, and multi-step tasks. Next, you have AI-tuned content experts, writers, editors, marketers, educators, who use AI to produce consistent, high-quality content at scale without losing the human touch. You also have AI model fine-tuners and custom model builders. These people are more technical, but not necessarily full-on researchers. They know how to prepare data training, evaluate models, adjust behaviors, and deploy systems that match a company's needs. And of course, you have AI engineers and research engineers, the most technical paths, who build or modify the systems themselves. Now, you might be thinking, but which one is right for me? Good question. A simple way to figure it out is to ask yourself, what do I enjoy doing even when it's hard? If you enjoy writing, communicating, designing experiences, you're going to land in the content or communication side of AI. If you enjoy building processes, solving problems, or organizing messy workflows, you'll likely become a workflow designer or operator. And if you enjoy logic, systems, and technical challenges, you'll likely go toward engineering or fine-tuning. You don't pick a specialization by guessing. You pick it by noticing what you naturally lean toward when you use AI regularly. And once you choose a specialization, the next step in this roadmap becomes clear: build depth. Depth means you stop bouncing between every new trend and instead say, I'm going to get genuinely good at this one part of AI. Depth makes you valuable. Depth makes you in demand. Depth makes your career stable even when the industry is shifting. Think of it this way. If you want to be an AI workflow designer, depth looks like learning how to break down a process into repeatable steps, how to chain prompts together, how to use automation tools, and how to build systems that don't fall apart when the inputs change. If you want to be a content expert, depth looks like mastering tone control, style transformation, narrative structure, and accuracy. If you want to be a fine-tuner, depth looks like understanding data quality, evaluation, safety, and documentation. Depth is the difference between someone who knows how to use AI and someone who knows how to deliver results. And I want to share something that surprises most people. The biggest advantage you can have in 2026 isn't technical skill, it's clarity. The world is full of people who can do a little bit of everything. It's almost empty of people who can do one thing extremely well. When you become that person, opportunities find you. As you build depth, something else happens naturally. You start building a portfolio. But I want to clarify something here. A portfolio in AI isn't a collection of pretty screenshots. It's evidence. Evidence that you can solve problems. Evidence that you can produce consistent results. Evidence that you can be trusted with real work. And now I may be wondering, what exactly should I put in an AI portfolio? You don't need complicated projects. You need clear examples of your capability. For example, before and after transformations, a workflow that solves a real problem, a content sample improved with AI, a process you automated, a data set you cleaned or organized, a custom model you fine-tuned, a breakdown of how you approached a real task.